So tonight's news sparking new questions not only about Justice Ginsburg's health, but about her role and influence on the nation's highest court. So let's bring in Fox News contributors Dr. Marc Siegel and Saul Wisenberg for medical and political prognosis. Good to have you both with us tonight.
Hi, Shannon. Good to see you here.
Okay, Doctor, I'll start with you because we got what sounds like a pretty thorough statement from the court saying she had radiation therapy. The thing is, it was just months ago in December that she had surgery actually for lung cancer. That was handled. She's had pancreatic cancer before. You haven't treated her, I know, but what do you make of this latest round of news and the radiation as the choice for treatment?
Well, Shannon, first of all, it's very likely that this is not related to the pancreatic cancer that she had 9-10 years ago. It's probably new, number one. Number two, the fact that radiation is being chosen here, and it's a new kind of radiation for this kind of tumor, by the way, very high intensity, known as cyberknife, and it's having some very promising results, though it has more side effects. The reason it's chosen, in my opinion, is probably because the location of the tumor doesn't make it amenable to surgery. Usually you remove it by surgery if you can. The big question mark here is, what kind of pancreatic cancer is this? Because depending on what kind you have, that influences the prognosis. Even if they got rid of all of it with radiation, which is what they're saying, it has a high recurrence rate. Pancreatic cancer tends to come back, so she's going to have to be watched very carefully. It was probably found early, Shannon, because they're screening her so carefully because of her prior cancers. If it's a certain kind of cancer that's amenable to treatment, she's going to do better, and that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, and listen, they said that she undergoes routine blood work and scans. That's how they found this so early, through a bit of blood work back in July. They're going to keep up with that, and so it sounds like she's probably one of the best monitored people out there. She's very tough. She is very determined. She's got a workout routine that a lot of people say she's gone through this with her trainer, and it's almost a joke about how great she is at push-ups and everything else. So
I'm a big believer in that, Shannon. I think that being a fighter the way she is, being tough, I think that that helps a lot in terms of fighting something like cancer. I've seen it time and time again.
Well, and you know, Saul, I mean, it didn't take any time at all before people on both sides of the aisle started talking about the makeup of the court and what happens eventually when one day they're all going to leave the court. But David Axelrod, obviously from the Obama administration, tweeting this: if there's a SCOTUS vacancy next year and Senate Majority Leader, meaning McConnell, carries through on his extraordinary promise to fill it despite his own previous precedent in blocking Garland, it will tear this country apart. Not long ago, before this latest case with Justice Ginsburg came up, I asked the Senate Majority Leader about an opening next year if it happened in any case. Here's what he told me.
But we don't know whether we're going to have a vacancy. What we do know for sure is he's picked 2 new Supreme Court justices, and we've confirmed them. We will leave no vacancy behind.
So she said, and when she's been pressured by the left to step down and make way under a Democratic president, no way, I've got a job to do. And she says, getting someone like me confirmed now, basically she's implied, would be nearly impossible. She's a progressive, reliable progressive vote.
Well, I wish her the best. She's has a lot to do with the collegiality of the court. She's gone out of her way to praise her 2 new colleagues, Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Gorsuch. And so I'm not going to engage in any morbid speculation about what's going to happen. As far as tearing the country apart, I think we know who tore the country apart during the last confirmation battle. But do we really want to go through that again as a country, particularly with a presidential election coming up? I certainly hope not. And I wish her the very best. And she's really been extraordinary in this effort to keep the court itself as an institution away from partisan politics. I'm sure you heard about an event in Washington last month hosted by one of her former clerks. And he made the statement that it's a shame that these days Supreme Court justices are no longer primarily chosen because of their legal ability or personal decency. And she immediately shot back and said that Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh are very decent people. I wish her the best.
Yeah, and you hear them talk about each other in a very collegial way when you're with them one-on-one. They don't see these same ideological splits, and she was very, very close with Justice Scalia. They couldn't have been more different on a lot of their their legal philosophies, but they were really great friends in real life. It's a good example for the rest of us in this very divided time. Dr. Saul, great to have you both.
Very tough cancer.
Thank you.
Very tough.